One of these three guys won the prejudging of the 2024 Mr. Olympia, and 99.9% of the time, the winner of the prejudging goes on to win the whole show. So let's do an in-depth analysis of Samson Dauda versus Hadi Choopan versus Derek Lunsford. By the end of this video, I'm gonna let you know my personal placings after prejudging. It will be nice to compare it afterwards with the official ones. But something doesn't seem quite right just yet. Boom! Let's actually use the better quality pics from their individual routines, and boom! Let's adjust the scaling to have the best possible look. Now this is vintage Supersetman. Front double biceps. I'm glad Hadi used the vacuum this time, which looks way better than his elongated torso stance he usually hits in the compulsory. At the prejudging, he hit the vacuum both in his individual routine and the compulsories. He sometimes transitioned to his other variations, but in my opinion, he should stick to this. The main reason is that it almost annihilates Derek's advantage in this pose, invoked by Tyler Mannion after the 2023 Mr. Olympia when he gave this pose to Derek. Now, it could still go to Derek between the two, but the gap is shortened considerably, and I would actually give this pose to Derek between them two. The only thing that Hadi wins here convincingly is the quads. I know Derek has smoother arms, but they are bigger and fuller than Hadi's, so it's a close call overall. Now let's focus on Samson, who, let's be honest, if he was the same height as the other two, he would be a clear third here, but the fact is that he's not the same height. He's towering over these other two guys, and this should mean something in a physical competition. These good quality photos also showed that Samson got the conditioning. He's in good shape. For him, I mean. This might be one of the driest versions we have ever seen from him. What I don't like is the gyno on his left nipple. He probably wants to pull off a Ronnie Coleman 1998 this year. And since we mentioned Samson's gyno, we have to mention Derek's still visible dents in his lats. But to his credit, it looks less worse than last year, so both are gonna get a pass. Hadi too is gonna get a pass later on. All three of them are in good condition. Each of them has their strong points and weaknesses, so ultimately it comes down to personal preference. In my opinion, I still prefer Derek in this pose, and between Hadi and Samson, it's pretty hard for me to decide. Samson's dryness makes the difference, but so does Hadi's vacuum stance. It's close between them all anyway. Front lat spread. The first thing that jumps out at me is that Derek closed the gap between him and both Hadi and Samson when it comes to this pose. I still have him in last, but he did his job. His chest looks much improved, the main critique he had here. I like that Hadi brought back his sharp abs in this pose, reminiscent of 2019, and combined with his wide clavicles and great lats, he becomes the victor in this pose overall. Samson looks great, but his midsection is a bit sloppy, and his chest used to look better when hitting this pose. He needs to go back to the drawing board with this one. Side chest. What jumps out first to me is that Hadi gets dwarfed by the other two in this pose. He doesn't have the arms and shoulder thickness to compete with them here, despite being the most polished. This pose needs to reflect thickness and width nowadays, and Hadi fails to do that against both Samson and Derek. Even his chest looks flat here, and he used to have a popping chest a few years ago. Between Samson and Derek, it's a close call. Lower body, Derek still wins the side leg against both of them. His lines are already a trademark. I even see some chest striations in the far pec that not even Hadi has here, so Derek definitely beats him in this pose. But Samson's chest is much thicker overall. He's the only one nowadays resembling the golden era great pectorals. And combined with the improved conditioning and the size he's got over Derek, I think it's safe to give this pose to Samson. So each got one pose in the first three mandatories. Let's continue. Back double biceps. This is where Derek shows that he's the Mr. Olympia, and we shouldn't be spending too much time arguing why he wins here. He wins both upper body and lower body against both Hadi and Samson. Derek also has the best conditioning from the back. So when we critique his look from the front, Remember, it's the same but the other way around from the back against Hadi, for example. Hadi battles Samson for second place and he loses this battle. Hadi looked flat from the back too. And this is the best Samson I've ever seen from the back. His back looks the best it's been and his lower body is drier than ever. Samson Dauda beats Hadi Choopan in the back double biceps. And I don't even think it's close. Before I continue, over 74% of you watching my content in the last 28 days haven't subscribed. Imagine where we'd be if just half of you hit that button. It costs you nothing. Let's hit 30k subs. Thank you and God bless. In the back lat spread, Hadi looks much better but he still looks flat. In 2023, his back looked even better than Derek's in this pose, but now it's clear that Derek defeats Hadi in this other back pose and he's doing it convincingly, I would add. And if you think it's still close in the back department, Derek closes the debate with his lower body. Hadi might win the hamstrings, but overall he looks a bit soft downstairs and Derek is dry like the desert. Even against Samson, I'm not convinced Hadi takes the win. Samson has great hamstrings and his glutes are comparable to Hadi's from a conditioning point of view almost. And upper body, Samson just looks bigger. It's probably the other way around. Hadi came in too dialed in, trying to over-condition everyone, and I think he came in too flat. Again, in the side triceps, Hadi gets outmassed by both the others. From the back and from the side, Hadi looks small. He's dry and looks awesome by himself, but gives up too much size when standing next to other athletes. Hadi fans will probably kill me, but it is what it is. This is what I see. Hadi is last again. Now, between Samson and Derek, Samson takes this pose. I really like his Dorian-esque stance. It suits him perfectly. He also has the best triceps in this group, so both side poses go to Samson Dauda. Abs and thighs, and for you Hadi fans, you get a fresh breath of air because Hadi is not losing this one. This is his pose, his legacy. He's probably the best to ever do it overall when it comes to what this pose should look like, but Hadi winning is not what's surprising. It's the fact that Derek improved his abs and thighs and it doesn't look good for Hadi. Even though Hadi still wins this pose, the poses Hadi wins are less dominant than last year, and from the back, for example, where Derek wins, the difference is bigger than last year. Derek looks so good that it's become close between him and Samson. Samson has the thighs, but Derek wins the midsection, not to mention if the judges consider the vacuum where Derek looks the best. The most muscular was supposed to be Hadi's pose, right? Well, yes, he still takes these boys to school when it comes to overall conditioning and details, but he's giving up too much size again. It's 2021 all over again when he massively out-conditioned both Rami and Brandon, but got third because he was too flat. Now Hadi probably still wins this pose, but not as dominantly as in the past. Derek doesn't have the details, but he brought the fullness. Something Hadi lacks, for example, and they're both important. Samson beats Derek in my estimation, but it's not a blowout. In conclusion, what did we see? I saw Derek running away with the back poses big time, and I saw Samson winning from the side. Hadi won his abs and thighs and most muscular, but in the most muscular, it's actually debatable. In the front poses, I had Derek taking the front double and Hadi the front lat spread, but Samson was second in both of them, meaning the other two were last in one pose. So we have a really close battle between these three, much harder to judge than last year, for example, but from what I see, I think it's pretty safe to say that Derek Lunsford is in the pole position after the prejudging. He is improved from last year, that's for sure, and with Hadi, even though he has the Arnold Classic dryness, he came in a bit too flat, which makes it less impressive than both at the Arnold and the Olympia last year probably. Since he lost last year, I don't see how he can beat Derek here, at least not in the prejudging. We still have the finals, but I would go on and say that Hadi was in such an underwhelming shape that I have him behind Samson Dauda as well for the prejudging. So in my opinion, after the prejudging, Derek leads, Samson is second and Hadi is third. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video regardless if you share my opinions or not. You should appreciate the effort and the space for discussions I'm offering here. Also subscribe to stay updated for my Mr. Olympia 2024 coverage.